For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Eure here with Dan Weber. Instant analysis of Tuesday practice of Rivalry Week Part 2, Notre Dame this week. And even though Notre Dame's not doing so well this season, Helton was talking about how there's still a lot of tradition and he's proud to play this game.
Oh, they got a lot of talent. They got a lot of players that are going to be playing in the NFL. They haven't lost, I think 6 of their 7 games, less than 7 points or less. Nobody's, beat up on them. They just have whatever it seems like they've had to do at the end of games to lose seems to have happened to them. But, if you're a Notre Dame, and I guess they figured out now that a number of teams with 5 and 7 records are going to be able to go to bowl games. And so if Notre Dame wins, they actually still do have a chance and probably would be one of the 5-7 teams that would get to a bowl game. So there actually is something, riding on this for Notre Dame. They're not completely out of the, the general rule has been you got to be 500, 6-6. But they could probably get to a bowl game if they beat USC.
Mm-hmm. Injury report coming out of practice. Josh Fatu was able to do some things. Helton said they'll see what happens with him. Adoree was 100% able to go today. Juju Smith-Schuster, however, they held him out today for precautionary reasons.
Well, they did and they didn't. Actually, he did some stuff at the beginning. He came out and you would have thought he was going to be able to practice. It didn't look like there was anything bothering him. He did say, though, that in Saturday's game he was in the most pain he's ever been in a game. And he had 3 injuries on that one play where he looked like he was scoring at the goal line. And he injured his wrist, his back, and his hip. All 3 on that same play. Mm-hmm. So he went into the locker room, came back. He had we were kind of asking him because you have to keep your binoculars on him because you think he's gone. And then you realize, he's back. Is he going in? Well, he's going in. And he said he tells the trainers he's okay, if the X-ray is okay. And then he basically said, well, how do you get it back onto the field? And he says, well, I just go substitute myself and tell the player you're out and I'm in. And I guess Clay had a little discussion with him after that about, give us everything you've got, but don't be selfish in terms of, being out there when you can't do it. And he said, Juju trusted Daquan and allowed Daquan to go in, for him. And that worked out pretty well. But it was an interesting discussion with Juju about how much pain, how many injuries, and what he thought, he can do. He said, no, I was going back in. I knew I was going back in.
It was also interesting because he's a junior. He was kind of asked about his future. He said he's 50-50 at this point, right? He doesn't really want to think about it.
He didn't want to talk about it, that's for sure. He said, because you asked that question, this could be your final game, here, final game at the Coliseum. He said, I just don't want to talk about that. And then he volunteered the 50-50. So I don't think we've heard him exactly say that. So that's kind of interesting. Probably means he hasn't really allowed himself to think about it too much or gone into too much depth about it, but it was an interesting comment that it's not a done deal in Juju's mind, at least for him, what he's telling us.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting though, on Snapchat the other day he posted he was thinking about it like 2 weeks ago, so he is thinking about it, which is interesting. On the other hand, a guy who is leaving, Zach Banner, I got to talk to him today. He was saying that for him, a couple of weeks, he doesn't know the future. He said it's really scary for him, a 6'9" guy, and he said it's scary to think about the future.
Yeah, because he's right at that place where they really don't know if you can play offensive line in the NFL at 6'9". I mean, he will be, that's kind of groundbreaking. And the NFL isn't that good at making guys who don't fit the mold work. And so he's at that, 6'8" and below. For some reason, 6'9" is just in a different place. And it'll be interesting to see, where you go, who's coaching you, how much they decide that, the benefits of having a guy that's 6'9" and 345, as opposed to, the negative part of having a guy that's 6'9", 345. And it'll be interesting. But, I think that's a good word. I think scary is probably a good word.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, how would you assess the energy this week coming off a win and going into Notre Dame?
I know there was a lot of energy. They were very competitive, especially at the end of practice. They were going after, I think it looked like Connor Murphy got a pick 6 with the 1s against the 2s. And then, then they came back, and Sam Darnold scrambling around, and threw like a 40-yard touchdown to a leaping Daquan Hampton, that reprising his Saturday work, and they all went crazy, and it was a really a great play. But they were in it. They're not. It's not a kind of a phony rah-rah. They're not playing music. They're not. It's just they really seem to enjoy the competition, and that's really what you're looking for. And it's not so much it's Notre Dame. I think they just want to, this is their last chance to show you what they can do, and they're going to get it. And we're hearing that the ticket sales and that are going really well, which you don't know if it's going to drop off because of Notre Dame or whatever, but I think most of their fans have already bought tickets, and the USC people I think are pretty encouraged right now. And the ones that didn't go last week to the Rose Bowl may decide to go this week, but we're hearing good things about attendance this week, so that'll be nice.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for Tuesday practice. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Eure. For more, check out uscfootball.com.